Welcome to the Board of Select Persons meeting for Tuesday, February 18th. We are in person and hybrid Zoom. So are we gonna see those Stan and whatever on the screen?
Good evening.
Hi, Stan.
Hi Stan.
Hi, Stan.
Hi, Stan.
Stan is joining us
Thanks for letting me in.
online, and we do expect a second person to be joining us, our auditor. So tonight's agenda, we have an appointment, recognition of visitors for items not on the agenda, reports, our typical managers, financial and department reports. And then we go down, actually under new business, we have a snow blower purchase and an audit report with Ron, payables, and any other business. So with that, we could do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I'm trying to get the auditor in, so give me a...
How you doing, Stan?
Good. A little better than you guys are.
Yeah.
Well, you got short sleeves
we're
on,
doing
so
fine.
yes.
Nice tan.
I just think you have a little snow up there.
Finally.
Don't rub
Yeah,
it in.
good.
Don't rub it
Wish you
in.
would have kept that on my driveway.
I'll just get a heated driveway and you get it covered. All right, I would entertain to start off a motion for appointments for Walter Gallagher to our budget committee. He's been a longstanding member of the budget committee after being a select person. So he is not going to be here in person, but I think many of us know him, so.
I move we appoint Walter Gallagher to the Budget Committee with a term to expire of June 30th, 2025.
A second.
Thank you.
John DeSantis.
Yes.
Stan Tattenman.
Yes.
Steve Robinson.
Yes.
Marianne Hawks.
Yes.
Lisa Albee.
Yes.
With a vote of 5-0, you have approved Walter Gallagher to the Budget Committee with a term to expire 6/30/2025.
Is
Is Ron on yet?
Ron on? Okay, we'll just keep going down through the agenda. Matt, we'll go to the manager's report, please.
Manager report for 18 February, the MMA, Executive Committee reviewed and approved various internal policies, approved nominations to the Property and Casualty Pool Board, reviewed the MMA Federal Issues Paper and upcoming visit of MMA leadership to the National League of Cities Conference in Washington, D.C. At the airport, I participated in a budget workshop for there. That's going fine. The town office generator, we expect it to ship in late February. Everything else is done. So once it gets here, we'll place it, hook it up, and we should be able to run that fairly soon after it's arrived. Pending any questions, that's the manager report.
Any comments or questions? Hearing none, Ron is on the line with us. Don't see him on the screen. I just see him up in the little screen above.
Can you hear me now?
Hey
Yes,
Ron,
we
how
can.
are ya?
Hi, Ron. We'll move on
Hey
to our
folks, I had a little
District
trouble
24
signing in, I
audit
think I finally figured it out, thanks Nikki.
You're welcome.
Hey, Ron, how are you?
Doing good, Steve, how you doing?
Good, good. Welcome. I'll let you take it over.
Yeah, good. Listen, good to be here. This is always one I thoroughly enjoy, to have the conversations, just knowing the background story. When I first grew up with the town of Poland, and that was years ago. Now, I think we do 2/3 of all the municipalities in the entire state of Maine. The same for schools, same for counties. So we know a lot about who you are, and what's going on in the profession is the best way I can say it. I think you guys all have kind of a one-page summary that I tried to be consistent with, with the financial statements, that we did. And I tried to do something very similar so I didn't take your time and occupy and have to go through all 85 pages. You guys have that like a one-pager that I put to hit the highlights?
Sure do.
Yep.
Yeah, so first point, and the probably the most important, You guys received our highest opinion. It's an unmodified opinion. If we found any issues with management, if we found bad numbers, bad math, fraud, mismanagement, we would have to mention that in our audit opinion. We did not see any of that in the town of Poland, so you received our highest opinion, which is an unmodified opinion at 6/30/2024. Fund balance, at 6/30/24, landed a little north of $3 million. Last year, unassigned fund balance landed a little north of $3 million. Last year, that number was about $3.5 million, but you guys had a planned spend down, of that money by applying it to this audit year 24 for tax relief. I believe you've done a similar thing for the FY25 budget that'll end in about 4 months. Over $500,000 was applied to tax relief as well. So your planned spend down really wasn't as bad as what you thought it would be. Still left you with $3 million of fund balance. That's about 75 days of your operating budget. Last year it was 90 days, about 90 days of where you're at right now. And that's right where you want to be. That's kind of the middle to the high end of the pack of where you want to be, and as far as, your financial standing. 30, 60, 90 days, you're at 75 days. Last year you were at 90 days. You expected it to take it down to 75 days. You did. There's really nothing there, that's a surprise, out there. The reason why you didn't utilize all the fund balance, for FY24 is because you had budget savings. You didn't spend all the budget items that you estimated and budgeted for FY24. You returned it back to your bottom line, reappropriate it for the next year. You got $2.6 million set aside in capital reserve funds. That's a plan set aside for the town. That really, I feel, you guys, pushes you over the top financially there. Not only are we sitting on 75 days of fund balance, we're sitting on $2.6 million that we've, over the years, set aside in various capital needs at the town. You've got over $1 million still in your TIF monies, left, for those purposes there with the various 3-4 TIF agreements that you have at this town. That really, I feel, you guys, with the money you've got set aside in capital, the TIF district money that you still got set aside for those purposes, other reserve accounts, really puts you guys over the top in the sort of the A range, as far as a financial standing, giving you a grade. Really the set aside money in those reserves put you over the top, when you add it to your general fund balance. Your general fund revenues, little less than what you expected for, but nothing alarming. They virtually came in right on budget, you all. And like I say, the reason why your fund balance didn't go down as much as you thought it would is because you had expense savings. You spent less than what you anticipated in your budget. And then clearly the other last note of significance is, we're coming off a year of transition where you guys kind of went through a chart of accounts transition from the year before. This was a good year. We kind of united Nikki and Derek with a past audit manager, just knowing some of the difficulties there. I really think that helped facilitate a good, smooth process this year. And I'll tell you, Nikki and Derek delivered us the information, and, we were able to put this thing in your hands, a lot earlier than we did last year, you all. And I think that they did a good job delivering this information, to allow us really to sit here in front of you and, really just talk about the good financial standing that the town's in and, really the seamless audit, that went through this year. They don't all work this way. I can tell you a meeting I'm going to tomorrow night, it didn't work this way at all, and there's still some issues in that town. Poland really ought to be proud, of what you guys are doing there, and as far as the delivery of information and really kind of financially turning it around, in that town, starting a lot of years ago, you all.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you.
Great job.
Questions for Ron?
No?
Stan, good seeing you. Gotta go. Bye.
Bye, Ron.
I'm not letting you off that easy, man. Get a couple of things. Now I'm fixing out my notes here. I noticed that somewhere in there, I don't remember what page it was, it said the tax revenues were down.
all that is, so Stan, so what we do is we go in and we just don't end on 6/30/24. So if your commitment is X, we know you're gonna collect it. What we have to do, Stan, is we gotta go look at the next 60 days following your, for lack of a better word, collections that you actually collected in July and August of 2024. That's where we're saying, Clay, if you look at July of 24, Stan, in August of 24, that collection in those months, I believe, was down compared to what it was the previous year. So we've got to adjust our deferred tax revenue to give you an explanation. That's not any concern. It's just a delay, in how you collect your money, Stan. That's all it is. So.
Oh, okay, thank you for that. Second thing, from this audit, and there's no way of knowing what's gonna happen next year with a bunch of things that are going on.
Tell me about it.
Do you have any estimate of what we might be able to use from our account balance towards taxes for next year?
Here's the problem, Stan, and you and every other municipality, all 200 and some odd that we do, Stan, 250, I think you're by my last count, probably more. You're in the same problem. There's a lot of municipalities that were going heavy into infrastructure upgrades because they knew back in 2021 in the fall, of November, Congress passed the Build Back America package, and 2021, there was more COVID relief put into every state in this country to get down to the local levels here for infrastructure needs, Stan, okay? That's on a hard pause right now from what I understand, with Congress. Our state's holding on to money, just kind of waiting to see, what this administration's gonna do with that, Stan. So hear me. That's the one thing that I would caution over the next 60 to 90 days. I understand it from my resources at the bond bank, some of my resources at USDA, which is really concerned about what their departments in HUD and some of the other departments, that deal with infrastructure, Department of Transportation, some of these needs stand. There's a lot of uncertainty out there, right now, and I really feel it'll become 60, clearer over the next 60 to 90 days. And a lot of these projects that the municipalities for infrastructure needs committed themselves to are kind of sitting in a flyby right now, Stan, because they don't know if that money's gonna be available, what was said it was gonna be available. We're hoping still, that these, for lack of a better word, this infrastructure money that was held on with that package that was given to the states, is still gonna be getting down to the local levels for infrastructure need. I'll tell you, Stan, we're gonna have to wait a couple of months to see what happens out there. And that's the biggest concern that I'm seeing out there with future budgets, Stan, is a lot of those budgets were prepared based upon more COVID money, that was gonna be used to assist the municipalities, county governments, schools, these types of things for infrastructure needs, building upgrades, things like that. And a lot of people, right now, Stan, aren't really committing any of that money, until they see what this administration's gonna do. And as you can see, it's a lot of uncertainty out there. So I fully expect, I've seen this before, I fully expect that money will be available, you all. I'm just not sure, what form it takes as it gets to you now in the future.
Okay, and last question, something that I just have had an interest in over many years, is we've got a lot of cash, as you've indicated. Do you feel that we're maximizing our return on that as far as interest?
So the answer is, right now, the answer is yes, Stan. I feel that whole question changes in about 30 to 60 days, because I think that the banking world's about to get turned upside down, Stan.
Okay, very good. Thank you,
Yeah,
Ron.
right now,
Appreciate it as
yes.
always.
Ask me that question in 2 months, Stan, once I start hearing, and putting some context of what I'm hearing out there for interest rates that are not very stable right now, that I understand are supposed to drop. There's supposed to be new vehicles, available for local government to access now at 0% interest, low interest, rate, Stan. But a lot of that's up in the air right now, and I think it becomes clearer over the next 60 days, Stan, I really do. So. But right now, I think you guys have put yourself in a good position. I just don't know what that's gonna look like in 60 days as the things change. But I know last year, Stan, you asked that same question, and I know that Matt, Nikki, and Derek took a hard look, in the mirror, and kind of, for lack of a better word, did a little bit of housekeeping in that area. I'm just interested, Stan, what the banking industry is gonna look like in about 60 days. I think it's actually, you're gonna see it sooner.
As always, Ron, thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Ron.
Good news
Thanks,
for all. Listen, if any follow-up questions, Nikki, just let me know.
Okay, thanks, Ron.
Well.
Everybody
good
take
evening.
care, have a good evening.
Thank
too.
you.
Good night, Ron.
Good night.
Do we wanna see if there's an agenda item? Hi.
Hi, welcome.
Welcome.
Oh, you say that now. Here I come. I'm gonna sit right up here and read from my phone, especially after hearing what he had to say. I'm pretty happy that I came here. A new resident. I
Okay,
wanted to come here and read from this. How long are you
Introduce
gonna let me
yourself.
talk? I'm Hillary.
Hi, Hillary.
Hi, guys.
Where are you from?
Maine, originally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just moved back. How long you gonna let me talk?
As long as you want.
We'll-
Oh, cool, baby. Okay. Remember that, Lisa. Just remember.
It's okay.
Oh, we're committed now.
All right, yeah, you're committed now, because I'm gonna ask you guys questions too, and I don't expect answers tonight.
We'll do the best we can.
Yeah, and I actually don't intend to gather any information from you guys tonight, just really more rhetorical questions for you guys to think about, especially after hearing that budget review. So, I'm just gonna read my pre-written, okay? And I'll do my best to get through it. Good evening, members of the council, and thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I'm here because I'm deeply concerned about the direction our country's headed under the current administration. What's happening at the national level isn't just a problem for the woke left, it's a problem for us, all of us, right down here in this little town. And it's a problem for our families, our children, and our future. I'll just wait till everybody's paying attention. Okay. You just hear him texting, so it's just, I'm just gonna wait. I just can't listen very well when I'm typing, I can't hear very well. So I just presume that of everybody. I'm not here to talk about anything specifically political. I'm just here to speak to all the non-billionaires. Over the past month, we've seen a wave of policies that hurt everyday Americans while solely benefiting the ultra-wealthy and powerful. Let me be clear, as I've already said, this isn't about politics, this is about right and wrong, but more so about top versus bottom and up versus down. First, we've seen, surprise, surprise, more tax cuts for billionaires like Elon Musk. You know, the guy who did the Nazi salute twice on live TV. People who already have more money than they could spend in 1,000 lifetimes. Meanwhile, working families in this city, people I know, are struggling to pay utilities, put food on the table, afford health care. They can hardly afford to take time off, and many work several jobs. Does that sound fair? Is this really an America we want to live in? Where we only have time to work, eat, and sleep, and often have to sacrifice at least one to get the other two. Outside of the gross nationalism that is taking over this country, a country I'm very patriotic about. Those are two very different things. They're gutting our national parks and making it easier for Congress to sell off our public lands to private entities. These lands belong to all of us, not just the rich and powerful and corporations. Once they're gone forever. Side note, I think it would be a really interesting thing to look up just how much American farmland is owned by China. They've handed over access to insane amounts of private taxpayer information to an unelected technocratic Nazi. Yes, the same political party that my grandfather fought against in World War II. This isn't just a privacy issue or a gotcha Dems thing. It's a threat to the foundations of our democracy. They've disregarded court orders and checks and balances put in place by our Constitution. I'd suggest you go pick up a hard copy of one and read it before this kleptocratic administration changes that without your consent too. When the president can ignore the law, what exactly does that mean for the rest of us? They've ended diversity, equity, and inclusion programs with no accountability or grounds to do so. These programs exist to level the playing field and give everyone a fair shot. Why are they being destroyed? Did you know that veterans, rural communities, older workers, first-generation college students like myself benefit from DEI programs too? On that note, they intend to gut the Department of Education, which provides funding for programs our kids in this city need. Programs that schools in this town can't afford on their own. What happens to our children when they're denied the resources they need? I was a classroom teacher for a decade in Maine and Colorado, and have seen what cutting budgets does to rural schools. I cannot fathom why anyone would support more cuts to our literal future. And finally, let's not forget, this government is lying every single day. The president lies, his press secretary lies, his top aides lie, and they expect us to believe things that we can see with our own eyes as untrue. And so I'm here because I don't understand how anyone can be silent, even if it's just in this little town. So what I'm gonna ask you, the council, are some questions, because what's happening at the national level isn't just someone else's problem, it's ours. So I wanna know, what did I write, 7 questions. What are you doing to protect our city from harmful changes like this? How will you ensure that our public lands and resources in Maine aren't sold off to the highest bidder? What steps are you taking to protect the privacy and data of taxpayers in this town? How will you support families and children of this town who are being hurt by these policies? What are you doing to make sure our schools have the funding they need, even if the Department of Education is gutted and there's no longer funding for some children that go to school here? Friends of mine who have kids will lose programming. How will you stand up to the dangerous rhetoric and lies coming from this administration? And what is your plan to protect the most vulnerable people in this city? Our children, our immigrants, our working families, our elderly, and our sick and disabled. Again, I don't expect answers tonight, but I do expect some action, because if you're not fighting for your constituents, I'm not sure what you're fighting for. Thank you guys again. And thanks, Lisa, for the entire amount of time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, again, appreciate it. I'll be back next time you guys meet. Hopefully I'll be able to get some answers. Look forward to it, Matthew.
All right, let's go on to page 3 on our financials, please.
Okay, we're 65.38% through the year. Nothing really outlandish on the revenue to report. On expenses, we're doing fine. You'll see up in the general, that's skewed high because of the county payment, but everything else is in line. Community service is slightly high, forgive me, but that's driven by our payment to the library. Public Works and Solid Waste are in good shape. Public safety's in good shape. Law enforcement is a bit high, but that's due to payment, timing of payments. Financial services is a little bit high, but again, that's driven by our payment to RSU 16. And pending any questions, that's the financial report.
I'll entertain a motion on the financial.
I move that we accept the financials as read.
Second,
Second?
thanks.
No
Questions,
question.
comments?
I do have a question. I'm just wondering, and I don't know if it's too early to figure it out, since we've been away, it seems like we've had about 2 or 3 storms a week. Do you know how that's affecting the snowplow budget at this point, or you've still got to wait a few more weeks to see where it stands in relation to
Yeah,
the budget?
I think we want to wait a few more weeks before we get in there, but Nikki's showing me that we're at 76, 26% on that. So I think we're okay, but Adam's pretty proactive in coming to talk to us about what his budget's doing, and I don't think we're in trouble yet.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, we can do a roll call.
John DeSantis.
Yes.
Stan Tetman.
Yes.
Steve Robinson,
Yes.
Mary Ann Hawks,
Yes.
Lisa Alby.
Yes.
With a vote 5-0, you have approved financials as presented.
Okay, beginning on page 31, we start our monthly department reports. Any comments or questions from anybody for any of the town departments?
Fire rescue's off to a bang already.
Yeah.
Just wait till next month's report comes out.
Oh my gosh. Jeez,
They're busy.
crazy.
Mm.
Any comments on planning development or the front town clerk report?
Just a quick question on Parks and Recreation. Not having been there for the last few weeks, do we know, has the skating rink been getting a lot of use? I don't know if he's been able to keep up with clearing it off for them to use.
Yeah, we've been able to keep up with clearing it off, and I haven't seen as much use this year as last year, because typically when I come in, I usually see people skating at night before our meetings here. I haven't seen any, but there are skate marks on the rink, and people have been out there.
I just wonder if it's just too brutally cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a part of it, I think.
Yeah.
But it's shoveled off, it's ready to go, so when folks want to get out there and skate, they're certainly able to do so.
Yeah, I saw it too, he tries to regulate the times that people use it as playing hockey versus just skating around, and I've seen the hockey and I've seen the things, so I've seen the use, but I agree, I don't think it's been used as much as other years, and that's my guess, is that it's just
Yeah.
been too brutally cold and windy cold for people to
Yeah.
Do you charge to
be
use it?
comfortable out there.
No.
What's that?
You
No,
don't charge, do you rent skates or anything there?
We rent skates,
Oh,
but
we
it's a very nominal fee.
I didn't know that.
People do.
Rent snowshoes too.
So, renting things is expensive.
Yeah. It's like, I think maybe $2, I think. maybe
I
to
mean,
rent a
you
pair
say
of
like
skates.
$2, but,
Yeah.
I mean, look, come on,
Do
man.
we contact Parks and Recreation to rent those things?
Yeah.
I didn't know this. Okay. Great. I'm so excited.
but it's just on the other side of the town hall,
Yeah.
between the library and the town hall.
Right, I mean, you guys have a lot of extra funds, you could, put a little bit aside for skate rentals, maybe more people will go use it.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. Please, could you say that again?
Oh, I just said like, that guy just said you guys have a lot of extra funds, you could put a couple bucks into it for skate rentals for people who maybe are lower income.
The skate rental program is part of our recreation department. That's, what's the correct name for?
They're an enterprise fund,
Yeah,
so they have to run off from their own money. They
fund
can't use any
themselves.
Oh, an
town
endowment type deal.
money.
No, not an endowment, but they have to,
That's the same
in order for
deal,
them to,
right?
it's kind of like a business. They have to take in enough money to pay for their expenses. So that's why they have a small rental fee for the skates.
That's what the townspeople voted on when they made the recreation
Yeah, I mean, I
program.
wasn't here, so.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? If not, then we can move on to page 49 for the snow blower purchase. Matt?
Yeah. So we are buying a new snow blower for the skid steer. The skid steer is used to plow sidewalks in the downtown village area. The snow blower attachment currently being used is at the end of its service life. It needs to be replaced. It's not even together now. It's in pieces on probably the garage of the Public Works. We're purchasing a new snow blower attachment for, I believe it's just under $23,000. And I don't plan to go out to bid for that purchase for the following reasons. The financial policy provides authority to be exempt from competitive bidding when emergency repair or replacement, where it's determined by the town manager that the repair or replacement cannot be delayed sufficiently to conform to the policy. We need to get this thing fairly quickly. The way we're plowing the sidewalks now is a short section that we do with the skid steer with the bucket on it. The rest is done with one of our smaller plows, and we can't do that for very many storms because when we we do it and we plow the sidewalk with the wing, and we're carving a little bit of the sidewalk away each time we do it. So we purchased this thing, it's had a 10-day delivery time. Hopefully we'll get it before we see any serious snow. We have two quotes from suppliers of this equipment, both are within several $100s of each other. And based on that, I do not believe we get a better price by going out to bid. And it's desirable to get the new snow blower on order, which we've done, so that we can get it in time to be used this winter. And the funds would come from our downtown village TIF. Now, I'm not asking the board to do anything. I've taken this action, but because it's a fairly large purchase, even though the policy says that I have the authority to go ahead and buy this thing, I wanted to tell you what I was doing, why I was purchasing this, and why I wasn't going out to bid, so that folks at home can understand where their money's going.
Yep.
I'm happy to take any questions.
We'll certainly appreciate your transparency, because this was just extra work that you didn't need to do, and it's really appreciated, Matt.
It doesn't take long to do this at all. I'd rather people have a right to know where their tax dollars are going.
Absolutely.
Any other comments or questions? If not, Stan, we're down to payables.
How did you do this a couple of weeks ago without me there?
I took your place,
Yeah,
Stan.
Lisa
I
took it.
stepped up to the plate.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we pay our bills for the fiscal year 2025 in the amount of $1,007,689.09.
I second.
Thank you. Roll call.
John DeSantis.
Yes.
Stan Tatman.
Yes.
Steve Robinson.
Yes.
Marianne Hawks.
Yes.
Lisa Alby.
Yes.
With a vote of 5-0, you have approved the payables in the amount of $1,007,689.09.
Great. John, any other business?
No.
Stan, any other business?
Nope, just I hope everybody stays safe and is staying warm, and people who are having any problems staying warm, if they are, making use of the library during the day. There's a warming center.
You stay warm too, Stan.
Hey, it's been chilly down here. I had to wear long pants the other day.
I don't have anything, Marianne.
The only thing that I wanted to mention, especially this time of year with pipes freezing and bad storms, people can sometimes lose access to water and power. That we do have potable water available at the town hall. It's available to the public for anyone that needs potable water. As well as Sam mentioned, the library during hours is available as a warming center for anyone that needs it in the community.
Lisa?
I do not have anything.
Matt?
Nothing from me, thanks.
Vicky?
Just two quick things. First of all, the budget book, you guys will notice the library has been renumbered to 120-09. So it looks like just like another department, as it should be in our budget this year instead of its own separate entity, because it is part of it. So the revenues are now in the town revenue portion also. So just so when you're looking over that, you get familiar with that. The other thing I wanted to put out is that our fiscal year 24 audit is on our website. And so are all our other audits since 2010. So if anybody's ever looking for a town financial audit, 2010 and up is on our website. Anything before that, there's a copy at the library to look at.
Great, thank you. If nothing else, then I guess we can have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Thank you.
John DeSantis,
Yes.
Stan Tatman,
Yes.
Steve Robinson,
Yes.
Marianne Hawks,
Yes.
Lisa Alby.
Yes.
With a vote of 5-0, you have approved adjourning the meeting. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Take care, have a great evening.
Take care,
Be
everyone.
safe.
Yes, be safe.